Morning, y'all. Thanks for clicking on today's video. Welcome to the channel. Something I'd like to say is that taking care of animals is its own reward. This would be part of my personal philosophy, but we'll get back to that in a minute. Because Bruce Lee came up the other day, in particular his Be Like Water interview, this is also a philosophy. And his fighting system is based on a philosophy as well, but we'll get back to Bruce Lee in a minute. So then I was listening to this monk, and he was talking about how come sometimes people have an empty or an unfulfilled feeling in their life, but we'll get back to him in a minute. I also want to bring up that there's different types of philosophies, Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy, and all of those are open to interpretation. And finally, I was listening to a physicist, and he was going after the biggest philosophical question of all: what is the meaning of life? Now, in my personal philosophy, the saying goes, being alive is the real treasure. So how does all this link together? The physicist goes on to explain that without life, the universe itself has no meaning. The meaning of life is to bring purpose to a lifeless universe. Life isn't the question, life is the answer. And then the monk continues and explains that when we're born, we're already whole. You see, we feel empty because we're chasing an external meaning. This meaning doesn't even exist. Everything that we need to feel fulfilled is already inside of us. And getting back to Bruce Lee has 2 points here. His Jeet Kune Do fighting system is loosely based on the philosophy of taking what's useful and leaving the rest. And second is the Be Like Water interview. But I'm going to go straight to the part where he says when you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup, or you pour it into a bowl, it becomes the bowl, or whatever the vessel, it becomes the vessel. However, in this interpretation, the water also represents the knowledge and experience being poured into us on a regular basis. In my personal philosophy, the saying is learning every day. But with that interpretation, it also makes us the vessel. We're constantly gathering information, we're keeping what we want and disregarding everything else, and that becomes our personal philosophy. And by being the vessel in this interpretation, the water also needs to be poured from us. In the core principles, this is stated as sharing our experiences, which also qualifies as helping when and how we can. So you can feel free to interpret that however you need, keep some if it's useful, or just let it flow downstream. But that's going to do it for now. Thanks so much for hanging out today. Hit me up in the comments, y'all. I'll be around.
No, still recording.